Hello, you hooligans, and welcome back. Today, we are answering another viewer question. As always, if you have any questions, let us know in the DM or in the comments or in the emails. Send us an email. So this question is comparing. Is it ever beneficial? And this is not a very clear question. And a question very broad with lots and lots of things. So generally, sport is about comparison. Like that's what racing is you are comparing yourself to other people. And I think that's good. Like that's why I do sports. That's why I coach people with sports. I think that's good. I mean, obviously comparing yourself to them is probably not, like I would argue, is not the most important part. The most important part is that you're comparing you to you. But I think what this question is asking more is kind of the comparisons that come from like social media, I would guess, and the comparisons that come from, you know, not comparing yourself on a results sheet, but comparing kind of like life to life kind of thing. And I think that comparisons can be useful. You know, if you're looking at somebody's social media and you're like, God damn, they are training way more than me. You know, maybe that's a kick in the ass, you know, and that gets you out the door. And so, and that's good. But where this all breaks down is that the amount of comparison that we can make with something like social media is so big. And typically our ability to tell reality from fact on social media is really low. Like there's just so much bullshit out there and even unintentional bullshit. You know, people are filtering what they are putting out there. And also, our estimation of our own abilities and our own work is not always great. So I definitely think in a lot of cases with comparison, make sure you check it with somebody. Like make sure you check it with your coach and say like, hey, it looks like this person's training a lot. Should I be training a lot more? And then your coach will probably be like, no, you're training really well. Don't worry about that. This actually reminds me of well, let me step back for a second. So yeah. So, you know, it can be useful to take external data and compare that to yourself, but just make sure that you're having some perspective in it. And especially, I think it is very not useful to compare yourself in ways that make you feel like less than. And, you know, and granted, it's easy for us to feel less than because there's so much information out there with comparisons. But there's a really great quote, and I really wish I remembered who this was from. But the gist is, and if I recall correctly, it's something like, don't compare your insides to everyone else's outsides. And what this is saying is, like most of us feel at some point in the day, sad, mad, angry, scared, you know, all of these like negative emotions. Like at some point they're going to happen. And a lot of people who post a lot on social media, they just show the good parts. So they're showing this external representation that hints that they don't feel these negative emotions. And granted, some of this stuff has gotten better, especially from higher level people. You know, people are being better at coming out and saying like, well, I had a shitty day and I feel sad and all this kind of stuff. But generally, when we are looking at social media, we are seeing the glossed over total fucking lie that is other people's perfect lives and happiness. It's not real. And so comparing yourself, comparing your insides and the insecurities and just the humanness of that, comparing your insides with their outside view is useless. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not useful. Yeah, that's what I think about comparisons. Thanks for the question. That's a good one. Have a good day.